Tonight on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror, someone is admiring the beautiful eyes of these pretty ladies, so much so that they want to take them. Tonight's movie, Eyeball.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. Nightmare Baby Circus. Anyways. Whew. Took a lot out of me. Anyways, tonight, coming off of last night's spectacular, one of the best, one of the greatest horror movies of all time, Suspiria. Once again, the remake just doesn't seem to have the same spirit. Not that it's bad, just it could be its own thing. It could be its own movie and not be called Suspiria. It could have just been a separate entity all itself. But anyways, moving on. Like I said before, I have a taste for Giallo. And since the first one that I did a couple days ago, the Cold-Hearted Beast was more breast than beast, I thought, you know what? Let me try again. And a nice little movie done by, I believe, Umberto Lenzi. And that movie is called Eyeball. Yeah, well, at least that's what they call it in America. And in Italy, they call it Gatti Rossi in un labirinto di vetro, which means eyeball. No, it means something else. But no, they sometimes I wonder about, like, when you get a foreign film and they have to go, like, we have to, like, market it to an American audience. What should we call it? Well, we can't really call it the name they give it in Italian, because Giallos often have very interesting, cryptic type names, sometimes involving animals and stuff like that. Like Bird with the Crystal Plumage. That sounds not like a slasher type film. A movie like, what's another thing? Oh, yes, the Perfume Lady in Black. Also, maybe it's got the word black in there, but then it's Perfume Lady, so it might be some trauma. Anyways, I'm digressing right now. It's a hard job, I guess, but Eyeball? Why? Because, well, I'll tell you why. So, let's get into it. Eyeball takes place in Spain. A group of American tourists are taking a bus tour through many different Spanish tourist sites, and on one of their stops, some local girl is brutally murdered and has her eye cut out. I don't know if it's this side or this side, I can't remember. It's one of these sides. I think maybe it's this one. I don't know. Anyways, so of course this shocks the touring people and the tourists, my God. And so, of course, the police are involved, and they thought, oh my God, what a horrible random thing to happen. Except, fast forward another day, another murder, another de-oculation. So all of a sudden, something's going on. Either one of the tourists or someone is following the tourists and is stalking and killing pretty girls and removing their eyes. Whoa. Well, not their eyes, but one eye. I mean, and who could it be? Could it possibly be, I don't know, the creepy priest, the I guess the husband who's was stationed in Spain during the war, and whose wife seems to be not very thrilled about being on the trip. Maybe he's just being all pissy, killing people for that. Is it the creepy bus driver who seems to have eyes for the underage daughters of the tourists? I mean, it could just be some random bloke. I don't know. It could be the secretary who's having an affair with this big businessman, or the big businessman who just happened to show up unbeknownst by the secretary, trying to like rekindle that affair. Or perhaps it's the businessman's wife who just at the beginning of the movie cancels her plane ride to New York and instead goes to Spain. I don't know, and that's one of the fun parts of this movie, is that they definitely put up a billion red herrings in this movie. So let's get to those scores, shall we? Violence and gore, a 2.5 out of 5. Look, there is de-oculation, there is a fair amount of blood, but most of the violence happens off screen. You don't get to see as much stabby as you want, and you definitely don't get to see a beautiful de-oculation. Look, this is definitely not a Lucio Fulci movie, because we know if this was a Fulci movie, man, that de-oculation stuff would be front and center. Anyways, anyone who knows Fulci is gonna get that reference. Anyways, so 2.5 out of 5. You know, pretty tame, average stuff. Shock value, 2 out of 5. There are some pretty neat little jump scares here and there. The murderer dressing in red because they handed out these red ponchos because it was raining and the tourists, you know, they don't want the tourists to get wet. So they handed out some of those ponchos. And of course, that you can use it to hide your appearance, apparently. And that kind of creates a interesting, different feel to the movie, because usually it's a person dressed up in black, but now it's a person dressed up in red, like the Red Death. Anyways, shock value, 2 out of 5. Plot, 3 out of 5. I actually enjoyed the fact that they really set up a whole bunch of red herrings. There is a lot of suspicion on a lot of characters, and that is probably the most enjoyable part of this movie, is trying to figure out, well, who is actually behind this, and it's an actually pretty neat journey. Other than that, really, there's not much going on. It's basically the group goes to a place, someone gets murdered. Group goes to another place, someone gets murdered. You know, it's pretty basic in that, but I'm giving it some bonuses for the nice red herring. I guess you would say the red. I don't even know what is that card game where you're like, you got to find the red queen, but I'm always switching things around. Anyways, I don't know. Whatever that is, they do a nice job of keeping you off balance and keeping you guessing. So 3 out of 5. Acting, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. I enjoyed quite a few performances, but once again, it is an Italian Giallo, which means that a lot of times there is some really hammy overacting, especially when it comes to the women. They literally are basically just scream and act really insane and you know, so, but I'm starting to get immune to that. So, and I find sometimes it's enjoyable, sometimes it can be a little grating, but 3 out of 5. Nudity, 3 out of 5. There's quite a bit going on. There's just like, sometimes I wonder if they're just like, hey, you know what? In this scene, you're going to be talking to this person, and you're going to just be in bed, and just be topless, okay? Just be topless for this scene of exposition. We need some breasts. I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying that sometimes you wonder. Yeah, this is that. Maybe this is the producer, you know, tapping the shoulder of the director, saying, "Hey, you know what? We don't have don't have enough. You know, not enough." I mean, it could be that the director like is going through dailies and went, "Oh crap! Yeah, we don't have enough. We're gonna have to get everybody in." Yeah. Anyways, 3 out of 5. Enjoyment factor, also a 3 out of 5. Even though the movie is not as violent and gory as I would like it to be, and doesn't have as much shock, it still has a very interesting story that I like. I like the red herrings, and of course, it's in that that style that I just love. There's something about that style, the look, the feel, the pacing, the music that just really, just grabs a hold of me, and I really appreciate that. However, it's not like, a spectacular revelation of a Giallo movie. It's pretty standard, but I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. Overall impression is a 3 out of 5. It is solid. Yes, I wish there was a little bit more blood, but still very good, very nice. Recommend if you like Giallo movies. Recommend give it a watch. Keeps you guessing. I mean, I did kind of figure it out, maybe 3/4 of the way through, but still pretty nice. 3 out of 5. The average is out to a 2.8 out of 5, which is pretty solid. And there you have it, Eyeball. It's called Eyeball because of the de-oculations. They could have probably called it just, Killer in Red, or, actually what I would call it is I'd call it the De-oculator. Yeah, see, that will get people into the chairs at the movie theater because you call it De-oculator, and they're like, wow, is it a machine that deoculates? Is it a person that deoculates? There's going to be some deoculations. And of course they're going to be pissed off because it's like, I didn't see the deoculation. I saw the aftermath. Ah. Anyways, I don't know. But there you have it. Eyeball. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Rate, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. And I will see you next time on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. And remember, everyone, stay scary, internet. And, if you're on a tour and, you're touring, you're a tourist, all that good stuff, with a group of people, and there's, like, one murder, fine, that could happen. Stuff happens. But when it gets to the second one in your location, and it was a different location, and it matches the same MO, I think it's time to just, plane ticket, back out of there. I mean, unless you're the killer, I guess you want to stick around. But if you're not there, I think it's time to just get out of Dodge, man. I'm just saying. All right.